I lost a $50,000 bet on the World Cup final. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how it feels to lose a bet that big and explain to you exactly what you need to do when something like that happens. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to sports betting, you're going to have your ups and downs, okay? That's just the way that it goes. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. The key factor to being able to win long term is being consistent with what you're doing, having the right strategy in place, and making sure that you have an edge long term. Because if you have an edge long term, even when you do lose, yeah, it might hurt, but long term, you understand that you're going to profit because the strategy that you're using has been proven time and time again. Now let's go through the emotional toll of how it feels when you lose a bet. Now that bet that I placed was 5%. That was a 5% bet, okay? Now that's the max that I've ever win. I don't go more than 5% on any type of bet. And the reason why is because exactly what just happened, okay? You can lose. It doesn't matter if a bet is 80%, 90%, 95%. There's always a chance that you can lose a bet, okay? Probability can always still be on your side, but there is variance that goes along with that as well, where even if a play has an 85% chance to win, well, there's a 15% chance that that play is not going to win, and you will lose. And when it does hit you, it does hurt. The reason why is because the way that I play and the way my strategy works is you have to get on streaks, okay? We get on streaks, we win, 8, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 25 games in a row, and that's where you get your profit from. So when you do get one setback, it sets you back for a couple of days. So it's going to take, 3, 4, 5 days for me to recoup the money that I lost on that one bet. Now, to your average sports bettor, that is frustrating, okay? Because they have to literally work a whole week, basically, to get their money back, not to profit. But that's the way that you actually win in sports betting. And it trains you to become disciplined, because most people will go and they'll place a bet, okay? Let's say it's at even money. They lose that even money bet. They're going to go and snowball into betting something else. They lose that one. Now they're down 2 units, or depending on how much they're betting, they're down 2 bets. Now they're going to risk 5, 10%. Now they're going to chase, and they're going to get on a roll like that. And then they empty out the tank. You can't do that. If you try to just chase any type of bet when you lose, you're going to empty out the tank betting on stuff that you would probably never bet on in the first place. That's why to do this correctly and to actually profit long term, you have to have a level of discipline that is unlike 99% of the crowd out there. Because I'm not going to lie to you, when you do lose a bet, like at 5%, it does suck. I'm not going to say you could sit there and just take it easy. Oh yeah, it's easy and it is what it is. No, it does suck, okay? Especially when you lose a bet that's at 5% at a $50,000 unit size there. Because just think about that. I'm not going to be naive. That's somebody's yearly salary that's lost in one game. So it does suck. It's not like it's nothing. But you have to understand the discipline behind it, because you have to have the emotional control and the discipline to be able to realize that, well, the strategy that I use, it works. So I'm going to get it back regardless, okay? It's just a long-term game. It's going to take me maybe a week to recoup all that, but guess what? It's going to happen, and once I recoup that, then it's in the past and it doesn't matter anymore. Now, one high note on this matchup where I did lose this $50,000 bet is I did use the Linemaker AI to see who would be the winner and then the overall over-under in that game for the total. And I ended up hitting both of those, but I only put $10,000 on each of those, which was 1% unit size. So I made a little bit of money back. I didn't completely lose $50,000 altogether, but I did lose a decent chunk of money. And it is going to take me, like I said, a couple days to a week to be able to get that money back. Now I'm going to show you guys what that looks like with unit sizing comparing to bankrolls, and how you can basically judge it for yourself depending on what your bankroll is. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about that unit sizing on that bet. Okay, so it was a $50,000 bet at 5%. So 5%, my bankroll now that I'm using for that. And most people are going to be like, oh my God, like this is crazy, of course. But I'll explain to you in a minute exactly why it is this much. All right, so a $1 million bankroll, 5% of that is 50%. So think about that. When you think on this scale right here, okay, what? I lost 50 there. There's still $950,000 in a bankroll, right? That's how much is still left in a bankroll. So it doesn't seem like that much when you put it into perspective like that. When you just think this playing out like $50,000, damn, like that's a lot. And it is. I'm not saying it's not. It definitely is. But comparison to the bankroll, it's not that bad. And that's where your emotion kicks in and you realize, it's not that bad, okay? Like I could recoup this easily. I could definitely recoup this. Now, one thing I know people are going to ask is, how are you able to even do this? Okay, I was not able to do this for a long period of time. The reason why is because the sportsbooks have limited me across the board at plenty of them, almost every single one of them. Okay, so you can't get bets down like this. Okay, I've never been able to really get a solid number like this down. But with the prediction markets coming into play, as in the last couple of years, now you can actually get the plays like this down. Okay, so now I've been able to expand and really go towards that aggressive roll to see how much you could possibly make in a full year of sports betting with prediction markets. So that's why I pulled this as a bankroll to be able to use. Okay, now let's say, for example, you have a $100 bankroll. Now 5% of that would be what? $5. Okay, think of it in the same scale there. Okay, you have $100, you put $5 on the game, you lost that. You're not that bad, right? You're not in that bad predicament. You still got $95 left, right? You're not that upset. That's the same. It's the same mindset. Okay, it's just at a different scale. It's really all it is. Same mindset, different scale. Okay, you literally, when you're in this type of mindset here, should be the same exact mindset as up here. Okay, I know the numbers are completely different and way bigger going up here, but it should be the same mindset. So you lose the bet. Okay, I lost 5% play. Now it's time for me to get to work to get that money back. Okay, not chase, but it's time for me to get to work, put my strategy to use to be able to get that money back eventually. And if you have a strategy that works, then you are going to be able to produce. And that takes me to explaining to you what that means when it comes to a strategy. Okay, you have to have a strategy that is giving you a plus edge. Okay, it's the only way that you're going to get money back when you lose. You have to have a plus edge strategy. Okay, because let's say, for example, in blackjack, okay, house edge is about like -5% on blackjack, single deck. If you're playing, perfectly playing by the book and everything like that, that means the longer you play there, you're still -5%. Eventually, you're gonna give 5% of your money away long term sitting there. Okay, same thing with sports betting. If you're betting negative edge plays, same thing's gonna happen there. Just depends on how big of a margin it is for the percentage. So you have to flip that. Okay. You have to flip that, and you have to be able to have positive edge plays long term to be able to withstand any type of loss like that. If you don't, you're just going to lose money. Okay, your bankroll is just going to drain out. It doesn't matter if you bet 5% on a play, 1%, 2%, 3%. It's going to eventually drain out, and you're going to lose money long term slowly. Like, you could have the unit size, you could have the mindset, you could have the emotional control, everything like that. But if you don't have the right strategy that goes with it, you're going to slowly decline. Okay, I've seen it happen to thousands and thousands of people that don't have the right strategy. They just slowly bleed out. So one of the biggest things is the strategy, because you got to have the strategy that goes along with this. Okay, luckily for you guys, I've went through the trenches for years upon years. Okay, decade. All right, went through the trenches, found out all the strategies, implemented them all into an AI system for you guys. So that way you guys could use it, and it just spits out the answer in seconds, and you could just use it. Okay, there's a free trial for it. If you don't believe me and you want to try it out yourself, click the link in the description to start your free trial with the Linemaker AI, so you could see exactly how easy it is to find plays that actually have an edge. Okay, so that way you could just play those long term, and your bankroll could slowly gain instead of decreasing because you're guessing. So let's go through those roles that we need to control when we are placing our wagers. All right, first one's going to be the emotion. Okay, we got to get that under wraps. We got to have control, right? Got to have control over our emotion. Next thing is going to be bankroll with the unit size. Make sure we have that under wraps. It has to correlate. They have to correlate. These have to go hand in hand. If they do not go hand in hand, you will lose money regardless of anything, because you have to be able to understand you should be playing 1 to 5% max. That should be your unit size. Okay? You do not bet 10%, 20%, 50% on anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a lock. Okay, you do not put 50% of your bankroll or your whole entire paycheck or anything like that on it. You just don't do it. Okay. Number 3 is strategy. You need to have a positive edge strategy. Have to. It's not going to work. None of this works at all. None of this makes any sense. None of this does anything if you don't have number 3 right here, which is a strategy that gives you an edge long term. All right. You combine all 3 of these together, and I guarantee you, you want to know what's going to happen? A bankroll is going to go like this, and it's going to go straight up. Okay, that's what's going to happen to your bankroll. All right, I'll put it right here. You implement these 3 things right here, and that will solve your problems from losing consistently and slowly draining your bankroll out. And instead, you start increasing it and you start making money. Okay? Just keep these 3 things in check, and guess what? You will start making money hand over fist. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.